Jordan, do you make any threes?
No. None.
Some things never change.
He just said all the Big Ten programs were great.
Special night, senior night. I think it's a time to it gives you a little bit of reflection. Got 3 senior players that will be out there tomorrow. We've got 4 managers, and then 1 real special. I guess it's his 45th, 46th senior night in Rod Cardinal. This will be his last one officially, as he's moving on and been so instrumental in so many young people's lives here. I'd be very negligent if I didn't mention his impact on our program and on the athletes that he's touched, and what a mainstay in Illinois basketball. So I wish him nothing but the best in his full-time retirement, and enjoy his grandkids, and thank him very much. But I will say this about our managers: they're the most selfless people on our campus. The jobs they do, as they grow older, the responsibility increases. That enhances their leadership abilities. Aaron Fordyce, Josh Larson, Blake Woodard, who am I missing? Patrick Altoff. Yeah, those guys are all our senior managers, and they pay their dues, man. You talk about a bunch of guys that pay it forward for this university, for this program. So I'd be very, they'll be missed. They'll be missed a great deal. And obviously, Drew Cayce is a young guy that's going to walk. He graduates. He's a redshirt transfer, walk-on. That's in all my years, I've never seen a young man that has more interest in coaching and does so much in practice in terms of echoing what I say to guys and understanding what we do. And his importance to our team may not show up in a stat sheet, but it's very evident to what he does. And Adonis Rosa, I'm really, really proud of. Here's a guy that came to our university off an ACL. He was excited to be here. We were excited to have him. And he has worked so incredibly hard just to get on the court and to get healthy and to have to control and lose weight and to be a grad student and play himself back into shape. With an ACL, you just don't get on a treadmill and beat that knee up and get yourself back in shape. It takes a little time. So he's impacted our basketball team a great deal, and I'm really proud of his commitment and effort to Illinois basketball. And obviously Aaron, I've said this many times, he exemplifies what I want our program to be about: perseverance, toughness, work ethic. He's a guy that bleeds blue and orange. The I means more to him than maybe any single player on our team, because he's that invested. And anytime you get sweat equity into a program like he has, man, you're awfully proud. So it's a great day for all of those young men. It's a sad day. It's the last time they put on that uniform and run out there in front of the great fans at the University of Illinois and their students and their peers, and so we'll send them off, and that's always a little bit of a sad time for me, because things come to an end that guys have really invested in, and that's those are always tough days. But we get a very good Indiana team coming in that's playing exceptionally well. And one of the outstanding players in our league, in Romeo Langford. I think they've proven they can beat anybody. Beat Michigan State twice, beat Wisconsin at home. This team is defensively one of the best teams in our conference. And they're a veteran team around Romeo, and Romeo's made some big plays for him. He was very, very effective in the first game against us, and we'll expect a tremendous game tomorrow night.
Brad, for you personally, what has AJ meant to you? You coming in here, new face and new voice, to have somebody who's been through the trials to echo who you are. Just what's he meant to you, even off the court?
Well, he'll be the guy I'll never forget, because he's been part of the solution. And our record is not going to show, or doesn't show right now, how much we've improved and how much better we've got. And I love going to practice every day because I love the guys in the locker room. He's a big part of that. He's a guy that his leadership, his commitment, his dedication, his improvement is everything that we want this thing to be about. And if we value his opinions, we value his ideas, and yet he's the first one to step up when guys aren't doing the right things, and his leadership has just been outstanding. And here's a young man who's is going to make it in whatever endeavor he takes on in life. So he's one of my guys, man. I'm going to miss him, and I'm forever grateful.
Kind of going off that, from the start of the season to now, what has AJ just maybe done for this team off the court and just as a leader?
Oh, there's so many things. We'd be here for days. It's his personality. It's his persona. It's his character. When you're a high character guy, he's had a great year. He's become one of the better defenders in our league, and one of the better defenders on our team. And when you have that character piece every day, that rubs off. And he's been in that position to be a leader, and he's been able to help the young guys talk about travel and talk about all the things that go on when you're frustrated and whatever, or things don't go your way. So he's a voice of reason. He's a voice of experience, and that's invaluable when it comes from a peer and a teammate. It's one thing when it comes from a coach, but yeah, we could be here for days. All the positives he's put on our program.
Brad talked to Aaron down low, and he said he thought when he came here, his role would be just stand in the corner and shoot a three when he passed it to him. How much more has he done in the time you've seen here, especially defensively, and how much has he just bought into his role in being that defensive player and rebounding?
Well, he's bought into everything. Not just that. And to be honest, last year he was the guy we tried to hide defensively. We put him on a lot of the other team's poor defender or poor offensive players trying to hide him. And this year, here's a guy who's drawn the other team's best players. He's rebounding at an unbelievable clip. He had 10 in his last ball game. He's driving the basketball at a much higher rate. He's become more than just a shooter. He puts the ball on the floor, which last year he didn't do very well. His passing's improved. So, I think every facet of his game has gotten better. And we haven't been bashful in terms of asking him to do those things. And everybody knows he's a great shooter. There's a lot more to his game than that, and we've been able to see that and experience that.
To have the turnover that comes with the rebuild, the infusion of young guys, what has he been able to teach your guys, what it means to play here, and how much does that mean to your culture and establishing that? Well,
it's when it comes to the culture, it's everything. Like I said, if I could put a snapshot of one guy a year ago at this time that I want our program to be about, it's him. And perseverance. Life's not easy. Life's tough, and he had every opportunity to lead this program for a variety of different reasons, from the coaching change to not playing, and that speaks volumes to who he is. It speaks volumes to his character. It speaks volumes to his love of the University of Illinois and this program. And so those factors are really, really important to me. You want somebody in your program who wants to be here and who loves it and has a passion. I use the term pay it forward a lot. AJ will be one of our best advocates for our program for years to come. It lives beyond his time in the uniform. So, yeah, he's the snapshot. He's the photograph of the guy that taught Illinois basketball characteristics, and that's the one you want.
Going back a little bit to when you first met AJ, just what was your first impression of him, and just how has your two's relationship just grown since that?
Well, I think you come in with a blank slate when you're new coach. You hear so many things, and you look at a stat sheet and numbers and this and that, and the one thing I tried never to do was to prejudge. And you know, until you get to know people and find out what they're about, you know, and change is really hard. Change is super, super hard for 18 to 22-year-olds. It's hard. It's not an easy thing, and yet change can be good. And you know, so I've never judged him. I've gotten, you know, you took the opportunity to get to know him. You heard him voice his opinions, and I listened. And I think it's one of my greatest qualities is I listen. And you know, every morning I got up, when I was in the office, I walked in oven and he was the first guy in there. I mean, he was always in there working and shooting, and you know those characteristics are what you want, and he was living those. So yeah, he's impacted me, and he's impacted this program. He's been a better human being than he has player, and then he's been a really good player.
This is a team that, you know, has a lot of young leadership. Just a lot of young guys who play. You know, some older guys, as the only senior who plays a lot, would be kind of hurt by their ego at that. But how would you evaluate how AJ has dealt with that and, you know, fit into that picture?
Well, I think, again, it takes more than one person to lead. And I think he's taken a lot of pride in being able to help young guys see how it's supposed to be done and what it's about. And, you know, and then you can step back and get to a point where you don't have to micromanage, so to speak, every detail of the program. That's where this team has grown so much is now it's not me every day. It's not me leaning on AJ or whoever. You know, this team now has a voice, and they put themselves in that position, and AJ's responsible for that. It's you know, the coach doesn't have to be around all the time, and now young guys are stepping in, and he's handled that as professionally as I could ask and ever want.
Brad, as Adonis was working back from his own injury, we saw him stay after a lot to work with the two younger big men. What does that say about him? How big of an impact has he had on the two freshmen, Samba and Georgie?
Again, the best thing about this team is that right there. This team is selfless, and we've got guys with personality. And you know, Adonis had no idea what he had coming in. I mean, everything was going to be new. Grad transfer, he knew he had an opportunity, and he knew it was going to be really, really hard work to get back from the injury. He exceeded all of that. He was back quicker than the doctor said, and yet, you know, to see Samba, to see Georgie, to see you know, veteran, a guy who's 22 years old, played college basketball for 3 years, seen a lot, and for him to be passing that on, working with guys. I said it, you know, he worked, and he was committed to being a good teammate, and he was committed to our team from day one.
Drew's going to graduate in the spring, but he's going to stick around for a couple years as a grad assistant. How did, you know, maybe that all come together, you know, with him, and you know, what do you think he can add, you know, in the new role? Well,
I think when you see young guys that want to coach, and I mean, he's eager. He's more eager to coach than he is to play, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he is on the sideline, and he is talking to guys. He knows exactly what I want. I saw it a year ago in him. I felt like that you know, there's certain people that are maybe made to coach. You see him teach. You see him talk. His energy. his passion for it. We challenge our guys all the time to have a passion. Drew's passion's basketball. It's played out for him in this form, and I understand. I was very much the same way, and he's got a bright future ahead of him, and he's going to learn the business, and he'll impact our guys because he knows exactly what we want and how we do things, and get a master's degree in the process, and be a big part of learning the business at a very young age, and he gets to do it in a place that he's passionate about.
I guess the fact that he is going to know everything that you want to do helps. But is there any challenge of being going from teammate to grad assistant with guys that you just played with?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of adjustment early, but I think he's also got the respect of everybody in terms of everybody's understanding that he knows what he's talking about. He's informed. He's passionate. There's he's got to go from the other side of now he has to hang around with us old men and not so much his teammates like he used to. But there's a fine line there. But he's smart and he'll handle that the right way.
You might already hit on this, but just the rematch with Indiana, especially now that they've gotten back on track a little bit. What do you expect from them this time? Anything different from the first matchup?
Well, I think obviously I was watching it. They were 11-2, 2-0. It was January 3rd, and here we are 2 months later, and I think we were 4-something, and we did some good things. We did some things very, very poorly. I've said it many times. We're a much better basketball team now. We had a very, very selective and small portion of offense in, and that was evident. They're very good defensively. We had 4 or 5 shot clock violations in that game. The game was transition and offensive rebounding. You look at their last 4 games, their offensive rebounding at a very, very high clip. Romeo's playing extremely well. They are who they are. I think they're a little healthy. We'll see Fennessy in the lineup, who did not play in the first game. He's a really steady. He's got great poise for a young guy, they're fighting for their life. So we'll get a very, very good Indiana team tomorrow night.
Like you said, they're fighting for their postseason life. I know you guys want to play in the postseason and make as far as you can too, but what would it mean to deal them a blow like that, right here at the end of the season, even given the history of these schools and these fan bases?
Well, I don't worry too much about that. That's for all you guys. I'm worried about winning the game and trying to help our team position itself the best we can for postseason and the Big Ten tournament, which I'm, my goodness, I don't know how you pick a team to win that. You've got, I don't know right now whether you're better off playing the top 4 teams in the league or the bottom 4. And I think that's exciting for the fans, and it's exciting for all of us. You want to be playing your best. We played probably our best half of basketball all year in the first half against Northwestern. With both ends of the court, we were tremendous. Our defensive efficiency was .68, which is the best we've had, or .7. We had .68 in a couple different areas. So it was exciting to see that, and that's what you want to ask for as you head into the tournament and the next game. And so I don't worry about all the other stuff. We're going to show up and play as hard as we can play, and try to have one more point on the board at the end than they do.
You talked about Indiana and their defense and how well Langford's playing right now. He was a big difference in the second half in that first matchup. What's maybe a different attack, or what's the game plan for slowing him down?
You think I'm going to tell you that?
Probably not.
You You're exactly right. It would help if we could keep him off the foul line as much as we put him.
I saw the interview with Georgie on the journey on Sunday, and he called the season a beautiful struggle for you guys. What kind of perspective is that from a guy in his first year?
Pretty intelligent, isn't he? It's a great. I couldn't. He's probably got better perspective on it than I do at this point, because I haven't taken the time to just, again, I have to see the whole picture before I can really go back and start looking at it that way. But when I heard that, I said, man, that's pretty good. That's pretty pointed. I mean, it's very true. I mean, you guys realize I woke up this morning at 4:30. We had 7 o'clock practice, and I couldn't wait to get here. And it's March, and I love this team. That's the beauty of this team. I mean, we are. Every single day, they challenge you. You grow. You see the positives. You see the bright future. You see the now. And you see a guy like Jordan out here taking charges today, and that part of it is so refreshing, and that's the beautiful part of it. And yet, we played one of the hardest schedules in the country that we weren't prepared for early. We weren't made for that yet. But yeah, now we're. And there was a struggle, but it's been fun.
Coach, you mentioned morning practice. When did you first get involved in morning practice? How do you think it affects the team now, and how does it affect recruiting? Do recruits like the idea of morning practice?
I think, Lauren, a couple things. We talked about it first semester. We did this for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted to keep our guys around more. We didn't see them enough. So what I mean by that, we're scattered. We live all over campus. Academics are in the middle of campus. We weren't seeing our guys until literally 20, 30 minutes before practice. So now they're over in the morning. Their classes, we have first classes at 11. We have a couple guys with 11 o'clock classes. But they're around. So we would sit in our locker room area and hang out, and we would have breakfast, and we would talk to them, and we've been around them so much more. That was the intent first semester. And then we started asking our guys, as we got closer to having to do classes second semester, hey, did you like it? Our guys loved it because they had their day then. And it was their choice second semester. We love it. It's affected us. I think it's made our staff more efficient. We're able to get out and recruit and not feel like we're missing practice. There's some challenges with it. An 8 o'clock Wednesday night game, and wherever, we've had to bump a little bit and do some different things with that. But I think once you get acclimated to things, it becomes really easy. And I'm a big fan of it, and I know our players. I gave them the vote at semester, and they love it.
Had you ever done it before?
I'd never done it before. This is a long time ago. Chuck Daly, when he was the coach of the Pistons, I heard him speak, and he said that the most optimal time to practice, where you get the most benefit, was 10 o'clock in the morning. And that becomes really hard when you're in the college level because of classes. And I know it's helped me immensely. I wake up and I go to practice. And to be very honest, you don't have 25 distractions or negative things hit you before practice. So I go to practice in a great frame of mind every single day, and it's the first thing that I woke up at 4:30 this morning, and I'm thinking about basketball, and it's not all the other things, and that's very refreshing, to be honest.
Goes to the emotions of senior night, knowing how that building's going to be, what that game means for both sides. Do you have to say anything as far as controlling those emotions? Do you play into that, try to fire that up? And is this team, a young team, more ready to handle that now versus maybe early in the season?
Well, I think we're more ready. I think this team's really close. I don't think you have to say a lot. They know. Senior nights are exceptionally hard for those who are invested. And I had 3 senior nights at Stephen F. Austin when I was there, and all 3 of those groups became the winningest seniors in the history of the program. And we had one senior who couldn't play. Couldn't start it. We couldn't get the tears to shut down. And there's challenges that way, but it's good, man. That's what this thing is all about, is investment and passion, and this group knows. This is a really close team, and they understand that.
With Georgia and IO, you got 2 guys from disparate backgrounds, so maybe little similarities even there. But what has it maybe meant for those 2 guys to come in and immediately become key pieces for what you're trying to build here?
I think it's they've both been able to handle, because they're talented, because they were at a different place maturity level than a lot. I think it's been a lot of young guys. I think it speaks volume about their character, how mature they are. But that's one I'll need to answer in a month, because their impact on our program this season and for the future is huge. And to see 2 young guys that have gone through real struggles, and I'm talking this year, and keep persevering and keep positive and keep, they're not dealing with normal freshman stuff because of the stage they've been put on and the platform they've been put on. And they've done nothing but exceed, and exceed every expectation that I had for both of them. And that's, there's very few freshmen who have impacted a team nationally. There's some, obviously, you can look at the Duke guys, but there's very few that have impacted a team like those 2 guys have impacted our team. Thank you.